Hello everyone, this is Allison with Green Goddess Plants and Seeds, and welcome to today's garden chat. So today I am starting tomato seeds. So it's probably a little earlier than when I normally would start them. Usually I would wait till about the last week of March, but since most of these are going to be for sale for our plant sale in May, I wanted to make sure that they were ready for that sale. So starting them just a little bit early allows time to reseed if something goes wrong, if something doesn't come up. You know, there's still time to replant and still have plants for the sale. So that's kind of my logic behind starting things just a little bit earlier. So I'm starting with sort of the striped tomatoes I'm growing there, striped bicolors. So the varieties that I'm going to plant today are Blue Fire. This is one that I got from the Croatian seed store again, and it's like a speckled tomato, kind of similar to the Dark Galaxy, but maybe a little bit bigger. The other one on my list today is pink Berkeley Tie Dye. This is a favorite of a lot of people's. I've also got pink Jazz. This is one that I was so excited about last year. I was so looking forward to trying it, and just the way the season panned out, I really didn't even get to taste them. Like, last year's growing season was just kind of disappointing. So I'm hoping these do better this year and I actually get to taste the fruit off of these ones. I've also got a new one to me this year. Actually, the Blue Fire is new. It's one that I haven't tried before. But this other one that I'm trying is called, pardon my pronunciation, Sart Roloise, I think is how it's pronounced. And it's another new one for us this year. It looks really interesting. I don't know if you can see it's sort of a black and yellow, pale yellow bicolor. So that looked really intriguing to me. And the last but not least is my favorite striped tomato, which is Feuerwerk. And it's a German tomato. And it has a different spelling, which I will put down in the comment section for you. But Feuerwerk is a nice big slicer. It has these it's a red tomato with yellow stripes and speckling. It's really pretty and really tasty tomato. So those are the tomatoes I'm going to be starting today. So I've got my soil pretty much ready to go. I've already moistened it down, and I'm just going to add my cinnamon, my ground cinnamon, to my soil. So I do this as a preventative method for trying to prevent damping off disease. And damping off disease is a fungal disease that will wipe out your seedlings in no time. And if you don't take some type of precaution, whatever it is, different people use different ways of dealing with it. You'll end up with no seedlings at all. So I use a very liberal amount of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. So I've basically covered the surface of the soil, and I'm just going to mix that right in. Because I actually found that mixing the cinnamon right into the soil worked really well for me. And so I've been doing it this way for a good many years. And the other thing that I'll do is I'll make a tea out of cinnamon sticks. I'll take my two biggest teapots, put 2 or 3 cinnamon sticks in the bottom, and cover it with boiling water, and then let it sit for overnight. And then I'll actually use that water to water my seedlings. And that also helps to prevent the damping off, because cinnamon is a natural antifungal, and that's why I use it. That's why actually a lot of people use it. So I'm just going to have another go with the cinnamon. And it's something you can pick up at the grocery store, right? You don't have to go to a specialty greenhouse or garden center to get it. You can just go to your grocery store and grab a bag of ground cinnamon. So it's awesome. It's quite convenient that way. There we go. That should be good, I hope. Mix her all in. So the days are slowly warming up. Yesterday was kind of a cooler day. I don't think it even got above freezing yesterday, but the sun was shining. And I was out in the greenhouse yesterday, and it was lovely in there, even though not a lot of space in there, but it was still nice to just sit out there for a few minutes. So I'm going to fill my cell packs. There we go. Yeah, so I do everything in my kitchen because it's the only space that I have to do this kind of thing. So yes, it does make a mess, but you know what? You just clean it up afterwards, right? That's all you got to do is clean up afterwards. It's just so nice to get the hands into some soil. So I moistened my soil down beforehand, and when you are starting your seeds, you do want to wet your soil down so it's moist. You don't want it sopping wet, but you do want it nice and moist. And one trick that we did in horticultural school is we used warm water to wet the potting soil down, because warm water will actually absorb faster, more readily, more evenly into the potting soil than cold water. So that's like your tip of the day is when you're wetting your soil down for starting your seeds, use warm water. I'm just going to press these down just a little bit, very gently. You don't want to totally compact it, but you want it to be firmed. There we go, like that. So basically, I don't know if you can see, like I've got these are the pepper plants that I started at the beginning of March. So they're just starting to get to their first true leaves, but they're not quite ready for transplanting. But I'm using the rest of that tray. The rest, I had started the pepper seeds, but the rest of the tray was empty. So now I'm filling the rest of that tray with the tomatoes. So that way I can save a little bit on some space in my living room, because that's where I put all my seeding trays, is in my living room. Okay, so we're going to start with the Sart Roloise. Now, I'm not actually going to be starting too many. I'm trying to roll in how many plants I actually start every year, because in the end I always end up with like a gazillion tomato plants that that need to go somewhere, and they didn't sell. So I try to shoehorn them into my garden or out at the farm or something. But this year I'm trying to really control how many plants I'm starting. So I've got enough for sale, but I'm not left over with too many leftover plants. So like with the pepper seeds, I'm going to put more than one seed in each cell. So there we go. And there we go. So I think I put about 8 in there. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit of soil on top of those seeds. I've got my tag ready to go. Your tags are always important, so you know exactly what you're putting in. And I always use pencil. I always write the names of the varieties in pencil on the tags. And the reason for that is I've yet to find a garden marker, Sharpie marker, whatever you want to call it, permanent marker, that does not fade in the elements. Anytime I've used any type of marker, within weeks of putting them out in the garden or planting stuff out in the garden, they've faded and there's nothing there, and you don't know what is what, because the ink's faded off of it from the sunlight and from exposure to the elements. So I discovered that pencil does not fade with the elements. It stays put. So that's why I use pencil on my tags. Yes, you can also erase it and reuse the tag for something else if the plants didn't grow or the seeds didn't grow or something. But my main reason is because the pencil, the graphite, does not fade with the elements. Okay, so that's variety number 1. Next one, we got Blue Fire. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to trying this one. The photograph showed something similar to the Dark Galaxy tomato, but I'm just going to pull the paper out so I can pull out the seeds here. Okay, there's not that many seeds in there, but that's okay. There we go. And just like so. And there's this. And so I'm just going to continue to do that with all of my seeds. Oop, there we go. So this is a great way to save on space by planting your seeds this way. And it's actually not that difficult to pull them apart when they get big enough. As long as you're gentle with the roots and everything, it's actually not that hard. I mean, I've seen people who they'll put two seeds in a cell pack and then pull out the weaker one. Well, why waste that seedling? You know, if you're gonna remove the one seedling, do it gently and put it into its own pot. So you've got another plant, right? Another healthy plant. So I always find it hard to just to pull something out and not give it a chance to grow. I always find that hard to do that. So anyway, so the next one we got here is pink jazz. There's also an orange jazz. So I might try the orange jazz next year. That might be something that I might look into. But we'll see how these ones do. You'll see what they taste like, if they're worth it. You know, sometimes you never know, because like the pink jazz, like these are new varieties, right? So it's open pollinated, but I would not call this an heirloom. Now the problem with the word heirloom is that there's no standardized definition of what that means in terms of, you know, heirloom seeds and heirloom tomatoes and stuff like that. So, but there's lots of new open pollinated varieties that are coming up. So pink jazz might be an heirloom of the future, but it's not an heirloom right now. I tend to go by the rule, like different organizations and different seed companies will have different sort of standard of what the term heirloom means. Some organizations say, oh, well, the tomato has to have been around for 50 years. Others say, well, it has to have a documented history, some type of story that can be, you know, documented. Others say, oh, it only has to be around for 30 years. So it kind of depends on on the different person or the organization as to what is an heirloom and what isn't. So and there are some seed companies out there that they'll call everything an heirloom. They'll just put it on everything that they're selling, heirloom, because it's a marketing thing, right? So for me, I tend to go with the idea that it has to have been around for at least 50 years. You know, that's kind of what I go by. But you know, I'm willing to change that as time goes on. But that's kind of like my current standard is, to me, an heirloom is a variety that's been around for at least 50 years. Uh-oh, dropped the package. All right, there we go. And I always keep my seed packages, even after they've been emptied out. And oh, you know what? Okay, we'll just put those back. I was half toying of just starting all the seeds because there's not that many left. But you know, I think I'll leave those. I'll leave those for next year, even though there's not that many. But yes, I do keep my seed packages even when they're empty, because it's a great way of keeping record of what I've started in the past. Like sometimes I might forget, like I try to be really good about writing stuff down, but sometimes I do forget. And this is a great, and the ones that have the picture of them, it makes a great visual record of the plants that I've started. So that's pink jazz. There we go. More lovely tomatoes. I'm so looking forward to, I always look forward to the tomato season, to the growing season and growing the tomatoes. You know, I'm not totally sure why or how I really got into the tomatoes and why they're you know, such a passion for me. I mean, growing up, I hated tomatoes. Even when I was a teenager and a young adult, I hated tomatoes. I hated the way they smelled. I didn't like the way they tasted. But at some point, somehow I got turned on to the heirloom, back to the heirlooms. And I don't think it was even an heirloom that I even tasted. I think it might have been like the Helsing Junction Blues, which is a more recent variety. Then I realized that, you know, there are other tomatoes out there that actually do taste good. and for the longest time, I didn't even know that tomatoes came in other colors than red. You know, I was, you know, I had no idea that that there were like yellow tomatoes or black tomatoes or orange tomatoes. All I knew was that there was red tomatoes, and that was the standard. But yeah, there's so many different varieties out there. There are literally thousands and thousands of varieties of tomatoes out there. So yeah, somehow I got turned on to the heirlooms, and I haven't looked back. It's just been a really great journey. Like I love the tomatoes. I like to think the tomatoes love me. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But yeah, I guess I've made a connection with the tomato deva, as it were, or the tomato angel, whatever you want to call it, and we seem to have developed a partnership. So it's become a quite a wonderful passion, I guess, as it were, or I'm not sure if you want to call it that, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey with the tomato. So the next one here that I'm going to put in the ground is the pink Berkeley Tie Dye. And I know a lot of people love this one. For me, it's one of those ones that either you like it or you hate it. It's kind of got a different. I found it definitely more acidic in terms of flavor wise, and I do tend to prefer sweeter tomatoes, so it's probably why I wasn't too struck on it. But it's not a bad tomato though. It's still a really good tasty tomato. There we go. There's the Berkeley Tie Dyes. Well, there is my phone going off, so I suppose I should probably go answer the phone, but we'll let it sit for a minute or two first. There we go. So there's some of my tomato seeds started. So I'm probably just going to continue and finish planting the tray. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It looks like it's a beautiful day out there. The snow is probably going to be gone by the weekend. They're forecasting temperatures of like 10 degrees, so that'll probably make whatever's left of the snow go really fast. So thank you for joining me for today's garden chat. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And like I said, I'll probably be posting another video from the farm because I'm heading out to the farm this weekend. So until then, take care. Have a great day.